Hello and welcome. We begin tonight with breaking news from Georgia. A sweeping immigration raid at a major Hyundai LG battery plant has sparked international uproar. More than 300 South Korean workers detained without charges are now set to be released and flown back home, after urgent negotiations between Washington and Seoul. Tonight, arrests, chaos and diplomacy collide in this escalating controversy. On Thursday, federal agents carried out one of the largest workplace immigration raids in recent U.S. history. The operation, codenamed Low Voltage, targeted the Hyundai LG electric vehicle battery plant under construction in Elabel, Georgia. In total, 475 workers were detained, the majority South Korean nationals. Video footage released by ICE painted a dramatic picture. Detainees lined up against buses, frisked and shackled with chains around their hands, ankles and waists. Reports describe some workers trying to escape by crawling through air ducts, or even diving into nearby ponds to avoid capture. The raid has shaken Georgia's largest foreign-backed industrial project. The $7.6 billion plant was seen as a cornerstone of the U.S. clean energy future, bringing jobs, investment, and closer U.S.-Korea economic ties. But now, the spotlight is on mass detentions, not innovation. The crackdown set off an immediate diplomatic alarm in Seoul. South Korea's government responded within hours, dispatching envoys to Georgia and demanding high-level talks in Washington. By Sunday, a deal was struck. Seoul announced that over 300 detained South Korean workers will be released and repatriated on a charter flight. The first group is expected to board within days, pending final paperwork. South Korea's presidential chief of staff, Kang Hoon-sik, and Foreign Minister Cho Hyun personally led negotiations. They emphasized the urgency of protecting Korean citizens working on overseas investment projects. Seoul also pledged to tighten its own visa and compliance systems for future projects, hoping to prevent another incident of this scale. The release deal is being hailed in Seoul as a diplomatic win, but it also leaves questions about how such a crisis unfolded in the first place. This raid has exposed a deep fault line between the Trump administration's aggressive enforcement of its Operation Take Back America immigration agenda and America's dependence on foreign investment to fuel its industrial base. Critics argue the raid unfairly criminalized immigrant workers, people with no violent history, simply laboring on a mega project. They say the incident reflects systemic flaws in U.S. immigration enforcement. On the other hand, Trump administration officials insist the raid was about restoring law and order and cracking down on what they call a shadow labor market. Beyond politics, the economic stakes are enormous. This plant, a flagship of U.S.-South Korea industrial cooperation, now stands under a cloud of uncertainty. Will Hyundai and LG scale back investment? Will South Korean firms think twice before expanding in America? And how will this incident reshape the fragile balance between immigration policy, labor rights, and international diplomacy? That concludes our special report. A raid that began with buses, shackles, and fear has now shifted into diplomacy, negotiations, and an uneasy resolution. More than 300 South Korean workers are set to return home. But the questions left behind, in Washington, in Seoul, and in Georgia, are only just beginning. You're watching Prime Pulse News USA. Stay with us for continuing updates, expert analysis, and what this means for the future of U.S.-South Korea relations. Thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to subscribe and stay connected. Because here at Prime Pulse News, we cover what's trending, what's changing, and what's next in America.